For this calculator video, I'll be using example 18.5 as a guide. So here is the two different samples for group 1 service, group 2 no service. They have two different sample size, two different sample means, two different sample standard deviations S. Notice that we were not told the population standard deviation, we're given the sample standard deviation, so we will be using the t-distribution. The problem asks us to do a t-test, so I'll enter this data by going to stat, test, t-test, and since it's two sample, I need to go down to the two sample t-test, which is number 4. I press enter, and I arrow over to stat, and I press enter. Then I enter the information from the problem. I'll hit pause while I do that. Okay, so I've entered the sample mean for the first sample, the sample standard deviation for the first, sample size, and then the information for the second. In the problem, we were told that it's a two-tailed test. We have no indication that the population standard deviations are the same, so I will not be pooling it. If I think, or if there is indication that the population standard deviations are the same, then we pool the standard deviation. So I select no, I calculate, and I hit enter. So here is my test statistic of 2.14 and my p-value of 0.014 and my calculated standard degrees of freedom of 26.2, which is the option 1, and some of the problems will be option 2, which is a conservative p-value. So that's it on this problem. I'm going to use the same data to do a let's do a 90% confidence interval. So I go to stat, test, and I go down to a two sample t interval. So in this calculator it's 0. So it's a two sample t interval. I click enter. The same information or the same stats have been entered. And I set a 90% confidence interval. We're not going to pool our standard deviations, and I click calculate, and this gives me my my confidence interval for the difference between the two population means. So that's about it on this video. Let me show one other thing under the stat test, and then I'll just show here on the t-test, the two sample t-test. I would use the data here to do the calculator problems, and I would enter the information from list 1 and list 2 here. So that's it on this video.